we want to introduce you all to Dr. Joel and Naomi Mitchell. They are leading this movement called the Marriage Investors. And today, we've been talking about how to overcome obstacles.
Yeah.
And so, just kind of as we start off, I'm not sure if you want to kind of share a little bit about how we met, and then just kind of let them tell us where they are and where they're from and what they do.
Sure. So we are again just delighted to have these two blessings to the kingdom in our lives.
Yeah.
As you all know, we both were at Chicago Theological Seminary for our doctoral degrees, and we had the honor of meeting this wonderful couple. Dr. Naomi and I had some classes together, and but I just thank God for our connection even beyond the classroom.
Absolutely.
She introduced me to Harold's Chicken in Chicago.
Shout out to Harold.
Mild sauce.
Yeah.
That's right.
But a wonderful spirit and a wonderful sister. And then the four of us had a chance just to kind of have dinner and converse and just thank God for the blessing they are there and all those they connect with. So welcome.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you all. As you all have stated, we're Joel and Naomi, and we are the marriage investors. And so we help couples get a greater return on their investment in I Do. Because we live in a day and time when people invest in everything. They invest in their homes. They invest in their cars. We invest in our education.
Right.
Invest in our children. We invest in everything. But then when it comes time to invest in our marriages, that's something that generally goes lacking.
So true.
And,
Right. Absolutely.
And, we want to help people invest so that they can get a greater return. So we've been married now 20 years this past March.
20 years. Okay.
And we have 3 wonderful children, a set of twin boys, Jasper and Jacoby, just finished their first year at Morehouse. Our daughter, Sydney Joy, is a rising senior this year.
Wow.
And and we have a golden retriever named Max.
Right.
But, it was not always, peachy keen. We've been married 20 years, surely by the grace of God.
Yes, Lord.
Because we talk about obstacles. We went through some obstacles, so much so that probably about year 8, we were ready to throw in the towel.
Okay.
Do peace out. We came into this thing like, oh, we will never say the D word. We'll never talk about divorce. But baby, that thing started getting hot. And God was blessing us. Even, we went to school, we were in ministry, we met each other in church, but we were just not equipped. And, we loved each other, but how many times have you heard love is just not enough because we didn't have the tools?
Yeah.
Right.
So when the Lord blessed us, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, in the conversation, when the Lord blessed us and allowed us to kind of find our way back, what we did was we said, Lord, well, use us. And we want to help couples learn what we learned. And like, how you had those prayers. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you said something twice. I wanted to kind of maybe see if you could unpack that. You mentioned that you guys didn't have the tools.
Yeah.
And now you're saying you want to help other couples. We've been talking this morning about different ways to practically overcome obstacles. What are some of the tools that you guys didn't have that you're either supplying now, or tools you didn't have that you wish you had that would have made that year 7 and 8 a little bit smoother?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, as you said, we thought, because we loved each other and we loved God, that we could really overcome anything. And I think that is why oftentimes, we think that the spiritual side of things is enough to get us through, especially those of us who attend church and love God and all of those things. But that is not wholeness, right? And so we need tools such as emotional tools and mental health tools, and we need financial tools and communication and conflict resolution and those things, because we were praying.
Yes.
So God then helped us, sent us some resources to help us get through. So it's not enough to pray. We have to put feet to our prayers, and then we have to get up and move. We need action, right? And so we didn't know how to communicate well with each other. We didn't understand that we operate on different frequencies. There's this book called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. We updated and we said men have androids and women have iPhones.
I like that.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the tools.
So accurate. That is so accurate.
And just, communication is the lifeblood. And you think something so simple,
Right.
but that's one of the hardest things in the world, because even as we're sitting here, the longest distance in the world is from my mouth to Naomi's ear, because it's so much distortion. And
wow.
Even if you think you know the right thing to say, you don't necessarily say it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you say it correctly, that doesn't mean that she understands
I hear it that way.
the way that I meant it. You know what I'm saying? And so as we went through this thing, and here in Chicago, we did write a book called Shattered: How to Overcome a Broken Marriage. But the analogy that we use in that book is, say if you're, driving down the street and a small pebble hits your windshield. And I don't know about you all are much more responsible than we are. But you get a little ding in the windshield. You're like, oh, I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna fix it.
Right, it'll be okay. Right?
You keep driving, and then that small little ding starts to spread and splinter, and before you know it, it's across your entire windshield. And here in Chicago, with all of this rain, snow, ice, and 40 below zero, we got so many potholes that we said we one pothole away from that windshield just shattering.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I feel like you're coming for me, because I actually have a crack in my windshield right now. And so I'm not in Chicago, but I'm going to get that fixed.
Take care of it. Take care.
Second, I'm going to make sure I don't have any cracks in my marriage before, right?
Yeah.
But I hear you saying that. So I think you guys have really unpacked the challenge. Mm-hmm. How then does one fix that crack before it shatters?
Yeah, so I think that once you notice, because one of the things we talk about is the different types of conversation, and you'd be surprised at how many people really do not talk. Stop and take a moment to look into your spouse's eyes. We call it soul gazing.
Soul gazing. That's so gazing.
Oftentimes that because the eyes are the windows to the soul. And because we're so busy, we don't take the time to look at each other, because sometimes the eyes will tell us what the mouth won't tell us, right? And so communication is more than just conversation. And so we find that the conversations that we do have are what we call transactional conversations, everyday conversations. Are you dropping off the children? What are you
take
taking
out the chicken?
Did you pay the bills? How was your day? Just kind of brief conversations.
Right.
Transformational conversations are conversations where you are intentional about looking at each other and asking each other what's going on with you. How can I pray for you? How's your heart? Those types of things that you want to know about each other, and take the time. How's our relationship? What is it about us that you like or that you don't like? And really having those conversations that will transform your relationship.
Thing that propelled us into this is the scripture found in, what's that, 1 Corinthians? 2 Corinthians 5. And it said that God reconciled the entire world to himself through Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, well, surely if God can reconcile the entire world, there's hope for two people,
Right.
So the scripture goes on to say that now that we've reconciled us, that now you all have, become part of the ministry of reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're making you ambassadors. And so that was our call, because as we said, Jesus, if you get out of this, we're going to tell our testimony.
Get us out of this.
Yeah.
We're going to share. and there's one last thing that Naomi always talks about, and I love how she says it, but if you think about the communion table, and it said that at the table, Jesus took the bread, he blessed it, then he broke it, and then he gave it out. And so in our story, we believe that God blessed us, but then he allowed us to become broken. And now he's using us to be given.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yes.
That's great revelation. That's great. And we appreciate you sharing. Yeah. We appreciate you kind of giving this time. And for those of you who are logged in and connected right now, hopefully you grab some nuggets from Dr. Joel and Naomi. There'll be a lot of exclusive behind the scenes content, even extended version of the interview on our website, nowwhatlive.com. But we want you to connect with them at the marriageinvestors.com.
Yes,
Absolutely.
themarriageinvestors.com.
Listen, thank you guys again for connecting with us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere as we get ready to end this time together in our Now What?